This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Tunisian authorities are planning to institute several measures as the government targets to reach a deal with the International Monetary Fund before the end of the first quarter of 2022. The measures include cutting subsidies on energy products, freezing civil service wages, and hiring over the next 3 years. But as Adnan Shawalshi now reports, activists have warned that the proposed reforms could exacerbate the country's economic and social crisis.
The Tunisian non-governmental organization iWatch published a copy of the program developed by the North African state's government ahead of crucial talks with the International Monetary Fund for a much-needed financial bailout. The NGO denounced lack of government communication on its plans with the multilateral lender.
This secret document was developed by the government without discussing its content with experts from the Labor Union and the Confederation of Industry. This plan will have negative repercussions on the Tunisian economy. Authorities know that voters will reject these reforms. These might impact the legislative elections in December 2022. That is why the painful measures will be imposed in 2023 after the elections.
iWatch revealed that the gradual lifting of subsidies on energy products will pave the way for reaching real prices by 2026. It will also increase low-voltage electricity prices for Tunisian households. Accordingly, the government will also develop a digital platform for registration and management of the targeted subsidization of commodities.
There are too many contradictions in the approach of the government. What it says to the Tunisian people is different from what it plans with the IMF in terms of structural reforms. This is unacceptable.
However, Tunisia's finance minister explained that the government is preparing a consensual program for major reforms that will stabilize and kickstart economic recovery after the pandemic fallout and years of political instability.
The government has developed a draft reform document for Tunisia. It could coincide or intersect with the reform plan made by the International Monetary Fund. We will discuss these structural reforms and agree on this document with all our partners at home before presenting it to the IMF.
The 2022 state budget provides for early retirement before the legal age of 62. The government also encourages civil servants to start their own businesses. These measures are aimed at reducing the public sector wage bill in the North African country.
Tunisian authorities said that a set of realistic and acceptable reforms may be reached with the IMF before the end of the first quarter of 2022. Civil society organizations are calling for a dialogue on the country's structural reforms before a deal is signed with the US-based lender. Adnan Shawalshi, CGTN, Tunis.